And so Yashotaro was the last one in line, trying to find a husband, and he's trying to find a wife. And Siddhartha, the Buddha, told Yashotara, I don't have anything to give you because I ran out of jewelry. I gave everyone jewelry, and you were the last one, and I don't have anything to give you. And Yashotara says, My lord, it is not you that needs to give me something, it is I that needs to give you something. So obviously she stood out, right? Buying through her actions, the way how she was thinking. All right, so they hit it off. They hit it off, and they have a kid together, named Rahula. And on the night that the Buddha left, everyone was heartbroken. The dad was heartbroken. Yashotaro's heartbroken. Rahula don't know nothing. And she learned that the Buddha went and slept on the floor, renounced his life, the austere practices. She couldn't enjoy herself. The king sent out people to spy on his son, and they reported back to the king accurately what he was doing, how he was doing it, how he was living his life, begging for food, living in the forest, starving himself to the extreme point. And so, of course, word spread like wildfires, went back to Yashotara's ears. So she also renounced in her own in the palace. She took off all her jewelry, slept on the floor. If the Buddha slept on the floor, on the ground, that she too was not going to enjoy herself, and suffered 6 straight years with the Buddha. My point sharing this story with you is that indeed, before I make my interpretation, Christina and myself, before becoming a monk, and we liked each other, or we loved each other for a short time. Gotta be careful how you use the word love, but we equated the actions and our thoughts and illusions in our minds that it was love, this word love, that so we thought. But her mom also didn't like me and didn't want me to see her. So we suffered greatly, and we tried to, sneak around and find ways to see each other. And we suffered through it as much as we possibly could. We suffered academically, we suffered personally, physically, and we just tried to make it work. Um, that lasted, I don't know, maybe 2 3 years. If it's meant to be, people would wait. People would be patient. People would find reasons. People always, the human mind always finds reasons to stay, to stick it out with that person. Based on my experience, um, is that which is the mind gathers so much information about this human, all these factors, all of these little sciences, and the mind of the male or female goes, I really like him. I would do anything for him. I will wait for him. I can't wait to be in his arms. I can't wait to be in her arms. I can't wait to share things with him. The fire isn't easily extinguished. So, but for your particular situation and the fire being extinguished so fast and so quick and so easy, one must really question what is love. And you need that you have to investigate deeply. I think you touched on a lot of philosophical subject, but the modern day conversation for young people is, I don't know how you're gonna start out. I'm just gonna give an example, or as best as I can, as a 37-year-old monk. It's been quite some time since the adolescent days. Is you try to get some honest answers and try to get their standpoints. Like, so what are we? Are we boyfriends? Are we girlfriends? What are we? And how are we going to like or love each other? I like you a lot. I mean, so what does that mean that you like me a lot, right?
Right.
What does that mean that you love me a lot? Why do you do what you do? And into the little actions that they do, which is, why do you bring me lunch? Why do you put little notes on my locker? Why do you do these things? I just want to
Right.
know what it means. What does that mean? Trying to define that. Um, so as you sit and drink boba tea together, it's a you're supposed to design questions to get closer to intimacy. Questions that evoke intimacy, the investigation of intimacy, the investigation of, well, what does it mean to care for each other? What does it mean to, you know, to be aware of what's happening right now with our bodies, with our mind, with our hearts. So I'm not sure, how much of that you did with her,
Right.
to be secure in the knowledge that, wow, she does in fact really like me. She does in fact really care for me. She really like me and accept me for who I am, giving my the good, the bad, and the ugly, the skeletons in the closet.
Right.
It's chaotic at 15 years old to try to. It's chaotic at 15 to try to have these adult level conversations. You're supposed to just have fun with life, just have fun with it. Which is, I really like you. Let's go have ice cream. And this is, I don't know. Sometimes one of y'all wants to get serious, and the other one isn't. The other one just wants to have fun. The other one doesn't. Once you start placing the word boyfriend or girlfriends, it puts this very heavy psych attachment of meaning. We attach meanings onto words. And the
Right.
word boyfriend, girlfriend is, you are mine, I am yours. No one can have you, and no one's going to have me.
But just like the idea of non-self, that we don't own anybody or anything.
Oh, you grasp that. There's people that is 110 years old that still don't understand that.
Right.
So, and right now at your age, you worrying about the practice of the non-self, anatta. Oh my God, like I think I've said this before. You perhaps could be the youngest arahant the world has ever seen. Hell, 15, maybe next year you become an arahant. Who the hell thinks of the practice of the non-self at 15 years old? At 15 years old, they either looking at big booty Judy, cute face, little waist with a big behind girls, or Glock switches, or weed and marijuana. I don't know what y'all think about. That's
It's kind
crazy.
of accurate.
You get what I'm
Accurate.
saying? Kids don't sit there, or what's the next game, or skateboard, or wheels and bearings, and science projects, or drones to piss off the neighbors, or going around shooting paintballs. I don't know. But obviously, it's not normal for 15-year-olds to sit there and think about the non self, into the details of the non self.
Right.
That is supremely advanced level teachings, supremely advanced level understanding. And this is why I'm still talking to you. I announced my retirement yesterday that I wasn't going to do counseling anymore.
You did.
I did. And Venerable Lee asked, so what does that mean? Yeah, coming back to, what does that mean? What does that mean? And I told him, I think people just use me for entertainment. They don't really do the work. They waste my time. They don't give more and take less. What's the point? Whatever. And I have a lot of priorities to shift my focus on, rather than babysitting people who doesn't take this spiritual path seriously. So, but then now Venerable Lee's wondering why I'm picking up the phone for a 15-year-old in North Florida. Well, because this is a very unique 15-year-old that does in fact take these things very seriously. During this
Right.
conversation, you're able to cite advanced level teachings at 15 years old. So, hopefully somewhere down the line you understand the three marks of existence, and you know
Anika, Anata, and Dukkha.
the dukkha in the middle, anicca, dukkha, and anatta. Oh my God, who the hell recites the three marks of existence in Pali at 15 years old? Well, I actually know me. I did when I was 14, so I superseded you. Um, And so, like, what's the point, right? What's the point of sitting here stressing yourself? What is it? Define attachment to me.
Attachment is that hook or idea that something can only be this way and it'll always be in the control, and a situation or whatever it is will always fit our desires and cravings. And that's the only. Sometimes it feels like when we attach ourselves to things, it's the only purpose for its existence is to give us what we crave. When in reality, attachment can also be the attribution of what things are in reality. When everything has emptiness, everything just is. I just am. I exist. I'm not. I may experience sadness, but I am not sad, because attaching that feeling of sadness to my existence would make it not true.
Can you be happy without her?
Possibly, but then it comes to the nihilistic idea of, do I need happiness? Does that matter? And for better or more, does anything matter?
It depends on where you look for happiness.
Right. It depends on what do I mean by happiness as well.
Happiness lies where?
Within experience.
Happiness lies within. Yes, yes, it does lie. That's one way to look at it. Experience. Uh huh. Can you be happy without your phone?
Yes.
Good. So you're not attached to your phone. Happy attachment is the ability to be happy without it, whatever it is.
Right.
That's the simplest way to explain it. Your explanation is like PhD level explanation. No, I might as well canonize this kid as a saint by virtue of panya, which is by virtue of wisdom. That means you skipped the first two fold training and just went straight to the third fold training, which is quite unprecedented. But if I do that, the monastic panel will probably like, you made a 15-year-old kid a saint by virtue of wisdom. How did you assess his wisdom? That'd be a fun one. So back to the subject at hand. I hope you look the two things I want for you to consider what I'm going to tell you, which is number one, you're fifth. Ooh, hold on. You're on this platform thing. And
Can I add one thing before you tell me?
Sure, go ahead.
Which makes the situation even rougher, is that she doesn't want to feel these ways, and she's also some sort of attached to the idea of us, but she can't control the feeling, and as it keeps consuming her, she's scared of the status of us changing, of us growing older, growing in different experience without each other. She's afraid of losing me and losing what we have, but she knows that it's a very great possibility and us all at the hands of her, which makes it even more harder, which is part of me wants to help because she wants to go back to normal. She doesn't want this, but it just happens, and it's nothing. It's like I've come to nothing, to no reasoning, to no pinpointing as to why it happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our bodies and our minds really weird at this age. And look back in the day. I dated this girl. She was really hot, actually, for a blonde white girl. I was like, damn, a baddie 10 out of 10. I don't know. Some things happen, and we try to come back to it. And one night she goes, so I'm watching my friend's house, and I'm alone, and I'm wondering, you want to spend, you want to get together with me? So I go over there, and we trying to get it on. We got naked in bed, and I'm trying to cuddle, and my body's telling me it's not gonna happen. She's not the one. She's not the one. And literally, my mind was like, I really want this to work, but my body was like, this is not gonna happen tonight. You realize that, right? Literally, there is no physiological reaction to this fine, beautiful body that's it in the bed. I mean, she wanted what she wanted. She's waiting for me to do what I do, male, female thing, right? And my body was just like, it didn't trust her. Literally, the human body knows energy. So, anyways, there's a possibility where you guys are incompatible at this time, and it's important to just not take it too seriously and just go with the flow.
Right.
Go with the flow, which is like you're on a jet ski, and you see this little log that floats on the water, or or a volleyball that's really nice. It's, I don't know, Wilson brand volleyball that's floating on the water, and you really want to, you know, get it. But if you reach over on your thingy, you might flip, and it's probably not worth it. Just watch it drift by, and if the wind is blowing towards shore, it'll probably reach shore, and you can pick it up there. But not out of excitement, try to jump and get this volleyball on your jet ski. So in life, as you're sailing through life in school, just kind of like just observe things, because that's the ultimate observation of reality in meditation, is to see things as they are. And this is exactly as it is, which is she ain't ready right now. I'm ready, but she's not ready. I have my agenda with her, but she doesn't have an agenda with us. It can't be an us right now. So so you back off, you give it some room, and let her figure herself out. 15 is chaotic. It will be chaotic until a human reaches at least 25. And sometimes some humans a little bit slow in development, 30 years old. Typically, people get married at 29, 30 years old. And now cases that I have seen, 35 years old. So what makes you think that love is going to actually happen at this age, at 15? Rare. You find people out there that's like, oh, that's my high school sweetheart. Okay, well now we're in middle school, high school. It's supremely rare. You have so much things working against you: social media, body image issues, eating disorders, depression, anxiety, suicide, isolation, groups, cyber attacks, bullying. It's all a bunch of stuff. So it's gonna suck for a good minute, because I think you invested a lot of time. The more time you invest in the conversations, um you don't want to lose what has already been established, right? You Both of y'all did not define fear. Both of y'all did not sit together and define the fears that you have, and what to do when those fears take place. And we have also two people that practices different philosophy and religion. So even if you did define the what in the fear, it's like, how do we resolve it? Well, it's simple: meditate. That's why the Buddha taught what he taught, because a lot of people were in fear of death, fear of not being united with their loved ones, fear from separations of loved ones. Whatever it is, you find the opposite of it. Mhm. you know Love, hate, pleasure, pleasant, unpleasantness, attachment, detachment, praise, blame, pain, pleasure, pain. And so a couple should meditate together and practice to see reality as it is, so that you don't have these fears. And I like you. I want to enjoy time with you. Like the common philosophy is, I like you. You know that I like you. I like you a lot. I like kissing you, holding you. I like talking to you. I like picking up the phone, texting you. It makes me feel a certain way about you. Um, and I really want to live every day with you as much as I can. Spend as much hours in a day with you as much as I can, and fall asleep on the phone with you. Um, but and in a non-attached way, and if you're not here tomorrow, then you know so these are some of the conversations I ideally one should tread around fear. she really tried to touch up on her understanding of fear and how to mitigate that fear. Make sense so far? But if it's left unaddressed, people start making up stories in their head, or they suffer in their imagination. We suffer more in our imagination than actual real danger.
Right. And I think that's what's happened a lot as well, along with this.
Mm. So it's tough. I mean, you're fighting against the current. You're dating someone who is within that religion, and you understand so much about what we do, and you're trying to explain certain things to her, and she's like, Jesus loves you. You know.
And she's super Christian. She doesn't practice it at all in her day to day life. It's just that that's what she's being or labeled to because she doesn't know anything else. It's not like she's a Jesus love you type of person. She's just
Right, and it's complicated, and I can put myself in your shoe. If I date someone right now, I mean, like, if I like disrobe and become a human, lay person, and then date someone who is Christian, and then like I explain certain things of my practice, and then they turn around and like, yeah, Jesus loves you, and I'm like, I know he loves me. I love Jesus too, but that's besides the point. Look, Jesus says the what, Buddha taught the how. We can incorporate the two, and then of course having to convince them of that, the parallels of the teachings between the two, and then there's evidence of that. So the convictions and core beliefs is like, it's tough.
right.
And now, yeah, she wants to be a lawyer, so now you have to be a lawyer too. You just imagine that dance, right? So just have fun with it and just let it be. Give her some room. Um, this sucks, so write about it. If you write about it, you reduce your thought, the intensity of the emotions, your thoughts and feeling down on paper, so you can kind of like sail a little bit more smoother, during these turbulent times, during the rough seas of emotions. It's the best advice I can give you. And then return back to the practice of meditation, of the breath. The breath helps you with anxiety because it reminds you that you're here in the present moment and you're safe and sound. You're breathing, so you're still alive. Again, in your head, you're going to worry about what she's doing, who she's talking to, what's going to happen tomorrow. That's what anxiety does. But we can't control a lot of things. And if karma wants her, karma will have her. And if karma wants you, karma will have you. And then that is another conversation to have too in couples, which is like, I love you, I don't want to lose you. I don't. What if you die? What if your car hits you? What if you fall down the steps and break your okay, well, chances of those happening rare. And it's like, if whatever you did in your past life and karma's got it out for you, death will seize you faster than lightning. But how many Christians understand and accept that explanation? It's rare. And when we explain death, it's like, let me see this flashlight. Flashlight. Death is like, it's like Lord Death is like next to me, and Lord Death is like, I got you, bro. I got you. And all Lord Death has to do is literally like move 1 inch in, and the person's dead. That's why we see people die in their sleep. People. There was a dude not too long ago, like 6 months ago, died in a car accident right out here. They like covered him up in white cloth, and my mom was like, it was a very big car. Like ma, the death seized him. Karma wants him. Karma got him. You know. So have all of this help you so far? Any questions so far?
No, I'm just contemplating how I'm gonna get back to asking and communicating definitions.
Yeah, I mean, if the opportunity presents itself, then you call her and ask her, and about some of these things, and try to investigate so that if it turns out that it's not working right now, then obviously it's human trait to know the why, and once you have the why, you'll be a little bit more at peace.
Right. That's something about her she feels she always has to know. And she does have a lot of perceptions in her head, overthinking scenarios that really affect her mood because sometimes she accepts them as genuine, true possibility. And it does skew a lot of communication a lot and perceptions. As much as I try to say that those thoughts, they're not, I always tell her that those are not your thoughts. If you can't even control them, then how are you going to say that it's yours? And
Right. And so obviously you're steering the boat. You're the captain, and the captain says, "All right, well, how else is working out for you? All these, your mind's tripping, and how else is working out for you? If it ain't working out for you, here's cognitive behavioral therapy. You don't want these violent thoughts anymore. Time to study CBT and do exactly what the book tells you to do." So whether she comes to realization that maybe this ain't working out, maybe I should really touch up on the CBT, and how well you inspire her. So a lot of work to do. It's very intense. 15 years old, very intense. Pressure to succeed, homeschool, work life balance. It's complete hell. And then there's boyfriend and girlfriends involved in the middle of all of this. Like, really? And that's no wonder why we have appetite issues, right? When there's so
right,
much worries, you can't eat, you can't enjoy life, you can't do anything.
right.
So erectile dysfunction at 15.
Because of desensitization to
Porn
porn.
and everything else, and more stress, and the kids stress over text messaging. Chill out. Chill. So anyway, so just reflect on what we spoke about. You know the answers to these things.
Right.
You were just looking for validation and confirmation. You knew what I was going to say. You knew exactly what the Buddha was going to tell you. I'm not the Buddha, by the way, YouTube and the rest of the world. Not the Buddha. But this is what the Buddha would tell you. Just think about it and don't let it affect you. You have grades you got to pull up, and not to let it affect you. Take care of your health.
Right.
Venerable Lee, did I miss anything?
I think you hit all the points. Just have fun out there.
You got your whole life ahead of you. You're going to meet a lot more, and you need to anticipate. You need to understand your body, what it wants, what it needs, and when the time comes and crap hits the fan, who you're gonna meet, how you're going to investigate. The modern day female or male, whatever, you're gonna need to investigate so that you don't go through the emotional roller coaster. Investigate family values, family history, investigate personal history. It's kind of like FBI background check. Learn to do it. Just and investigate their friends too to ensure your own peace. You gotta do a lot of investigation. It ain't like back in the day where it's not. Things are complicated. The evolution of the mind has changed. The name of the game of the mind has changed, and you have to know how to navigate through some of these very difficult, complicated female minds. The games they play, the things that they hinder and conceal from you, that's male and female. So if this is what you want, if this is the game that you want to play, the relationship game, get ready for it. A lot of ups and downs, a lot of disappointments. And remember, the Buddha says that not everything lasts forever. All things subject to change. And look into the details of that impermanence. And I will share with you wisdom that I have seen divorce court people in their 80s getting divorces. So just how long do you think your marriage is going to last when you do in fact get married?
I can't speak for myself in the future.
If you and if you are an arahant, you need to find another arahant. And if you are a once returner, you better go find another once returner. You know? So it's a lot to think about, and that's why I stopped pursuing it because it wasn't worth it anymore. Venerable Lee here is 21. He's a good-looking 21-year-old male monk. You know, ain't nothing wrong with him. His lab work is fine. Everything's working just fine. But he don't want no females in his life. It's such a headache. Please tell the kid.
It's
No.
yeah, it's
Sit.
a very big headache. I mean, when you examine and think about relationships a little bit deeper, and you guys are going into your sophomore year, and you got friends, and you have any friends with mid long standing relationships, or have had short term relationships in the past?
You ask me, have I?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of my closest friends is currently going through a really long relationship. I think about like 9 months now, and they've been through a lot together.
Right.
And
So yeah, I mean, in school you kind of just observe, relationships and other people's relationships, um, the amount of time, the amount of headache. Um, everybody. There's a lot of change going on in the time frame that you're in, and then especially once graduation comes, then everything starts moving very very fast. Especially if you're in a relationship and you're trying to establish yourself. Everyone's trying to establish yourself, find a career, get a good job. They may have problems going on with family. Um, a lot of things happen. A lot of things can happen in a day, in a week, in a month. So sometimes relationship is hard, and you yourself might change. They might change. We're never really sure what's gonna happen. We can't spend too much time thinking about it, but it's just a good thing to understand. And what you're going through, I think is good for you. To see and experience yourself.
right.
So
I'm pretty attached to Bailey here. I cannot be happy without her. I'll probably not reach arahantship.
I have a cat in my room right now.
I seen your cat. It was like on the edge. Excuse me. I'm talking, Miss Bailey. uh, hmm. Yeah. So you know what? It's not worth it. Oh, and yeah, I wanted to share the story was in ninth grade at Northeast High School. I met this girl named Sharon. Beautiful, beautiful Indian girl. The most one of those Indian girls. Some Indian girls are like, oh my god, perfect nose, eyes. Oh my god, they look like holy cow, like goddesses. Um, so I got involved with this one gal on my ninth grade year, and ninth grade year I was just chilling. I just wanted to do some hip hop. I was what's that dance? Do they do flares?
choreography.
No flares like
Like,
swinging up the legs around.
oh, breakdancing.
I was breakdancing. I was doing martial arts. I was like, I just wanted to live my life as a freshman. Like I was really, we really had fun. And then this girl asked me out, and I was like, uh, okay. So I was like, all right. And then like one day she's like she really wanted to have sex at like ninth grade. And I was like, mm 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 mm. Yeah, because I was like, what the hell's happening here? And my mind went into a very serious mode. So in a way, it kind of broke my spirit. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I remember throughout my high school years that so I was bullied. So I was like, all right, well, I'm just gonna do these talent shows and show my martial arts skills, so people would stop bullying me. I really had fun. Found a lot of friends that did it with me. That's that picture over there, Venerable Lee,
Hmm.
behind the skeleton. And but yeah, I don't remember any of us except Craig. Craig had a girlfriend, but they were pretty chill. But everybody else was pretty much single, and we got to just be boys and not think about these things that like is in the way. I assert the some of the intensities of these relationships can really break your spirit as a young man during your adolescent growth and development. It takes one mistake for you to knock somebody up.
Right.
It takes, and then ruin your reputation and gossiping and all these things. Like, who the hell wants to go through that? That's rough in your adolescent high school years. So really, really, try to like look at how if you like sports, focus on sports. If you like this, focus on that. Other than relationships, I would assert that relationships are quite dangerous, a headache, and dangerous. Oh, and then there's this other student that I had last year. Oh, this poor kid. This poor kid. I don't know how he met this girl. I don't know what the hell happened because the kid was very calm. The kid was an assistant to the venerable, and he's calm. I don't. There's no red, no orange, no yellow flags about the kid. The kid meets this girl. And you look at the picture, and you're like, this girl's trouble. This girl got some deep set eyes. She's trouble. And best believe, I don't know what the hell happened, but she thought that he was cheating on her. So the kid works at a country club, and the girl had people following him, trying to fight him. The girl tried to crawl through the window, threatened to like stab him, and he threatened to call the cops. And I'm just sitting back, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Are you seriously telling me this in my car right now?" And I just like stopped. My whole life stopped, and just I looked at him. You can't make this stuff up. And I'm just like, why did you get yourself into this at 16, 17 years old?
Yeah.
Um, and and then he called me one day and he's like, do you know where I can get a gun? And I was like, we're talking about getting a gun? Oh, I lost my shit. I was just like, how did we get this far? From falling in love to being enemies to people coming to you where you work, starting fights with you, and now you want to get a gun? It got impossibly complicated. So you just need to reflect on that. People are dangerous. You need to run a background check on. This is too young for you to do, you know, on her and her whole family and the address where she lives. Everybody and her friends run background check. If thank God back in my day when I was in love, and we didn't have to do background check on people. People were who they were and they said who they were. You know what I mean? But I'm like, who the hell is this girl? Where's her psychological evaluation? Like, how many referrals have she's gotten? How many schools is she kicked out of? Like, what? Now is like, we have to like do an FBI background check on this girl? What the hell? How could you live your life like that as a high schooler? What is the quality of life? What is the meaning of quality of life? I've lost billions of brain cells thinking for my students and having empathy and compassion for them, for what they put themselves through, unbeknownst, out of ignorance. Um, Maybe they think with their small head and not with their big head. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's not fun. In this age, you're supposed to have fun. That's not fun to me. What, 16 years old trying to look for a gun and sleep with it underneath, put the gun underneath your bed. When you go take out the trash, you have a 9 millimeter in your left hand and the trash bag in your right hand. How's that peace? Peace
Is
is
it?
Peace is free from disturbing emotions. How is that peaceful? So, anyways, I just wanted you to just really think about, you know, maybe the girl is benign and not malignant and it's safe, but I just want you to enjoy your adolescent years. It's short, and it should be fun and filled with laughter and memories and pictures and yearbooks, to look back on. It's a good foundation to establish so that you have something to look back on. A good life equals a good death, and if you live your life wisely, later on you can relive it again in memory.
Right.
So it's late. I don't want to keep you up. Any questions for me?
Oh, good.
You good? So just reach out whenever you are in doubt. Reach out whenever your emotions spike up and down. You know. So don't go silent, and then when crap hits the fan again, it might be worse. That's try to check in with me once in a while, frequent and often, so that we can gauge what's happening here. Sometimes you are blind, huh?
I'll do my best.
Yeah, sometimes people are blind to themselves and the things that they do. They don't see it until crap hits the fan, and by that time, it's like, oh my God, how do we fix this right now? Yeah. All right, Xavier. We shall reconvene whenever you have time and energy.
Yeah.
I try to reserve that time and energy for other more important fun stuff in life, eh?
Right.
All right.
As if this wasn't really a boring thing. I enjoy the philosophical premises.
Yeah, you are early praise and promise in my eyes as a monastic, but of course we also want you to enjoy your life, not try to recruit you to be an arahant at 17 years old. So all right, well, you have a good night, okay?
Okay.
Take care. Bye.
You too.